Hey, Bush Leaguers. Down Sim here. Thanks for popping in real quick. Just want to say thanks for being a part of 2 years of this crazy thing called the Bush League Backcountry Flying Series, and I wanted to give you just a quick little overview of this month's flight because it's going to be a little bit different. This one has a few technical airplane requirements. So we're going to be taking off from Mountain Air, which you can see on the screen here, a beautiful place, and pretty faithfully replicated in X-Plane. And you'll want to use, if you have the ability, you'll want to use X-Plane for this trip because that's got all the little coolness to, I think, this one. I haven't even checked it out in Microsoft Flight Simulator. It still will work, kind of. I mean, you'll be able to go where we're going, but I'm going to make some accommodations for that on Monday night. But let me walk you through just some basics of what you're going to need. So here's the X-Plane Sim, and just real briefly, let me hop in. Let me just show you real quick here where we're at. I'm parked here at just north of Charlotte, over here at I think this one right here, Foothills Regional. And as you can see close by, there's a non-directional beacon called Fiddlers, and the frequency is 391. And so we're going to see if we can't tune that in and get that to work. So let's jump in and get in the cockpit. I'm going to unpause it here. And just for demonstration purposes only, I've already got the batteries turned on and I've got the avionics turned on. So you can probably hear the whine of the gyros. And you'll want to fly a plane that has an ADF receiver in it, which this one does. And you can see it here in the radio stack. And if we tune in that frequency of Fiddlers 391, let's go ahead and tune that in. You'll notice that the bottom frequency capability of an ADF radio is 200. You can't go any lower than that. 200 is as low as it can go, and on the high side, 1799 kilohertz is the high side. So frequencies in between those numbers are all eligible to be received by the ADF radio. So 391 is what we want. So let's advance this to here and let's wrap this back around to 391. And then what we'll do is I'll toggle that radio. This is just like a toggle the frequency, standby, and the active frequency. I'll tune that over there. And as you can see, our direction card is spinning and pointing toward that station. And so right now we're parked over here, and I guess just the way that we're facing, it's pointing toward that station. Now the other little component that you're gonna need for this flight too, and which is always a good idea when you're navigating via radios, is to positively identify the station that you're receiving. So of course we've tuned into 391, and how you do that is similar to a VORTAC, where you can actually listen to the Morse code that it's transmitting. Now in X-Plane, to do that with an ADF receiver, you use this BFO mode, and what that stands for is beat frequency oscillator. Now technically, according to the book on these kinds of things, and from what I've read, the beat frequency oscillator mode in the transmitter at the station, or for the receiver side, like transmitters in the United States don't even use this anymore. They use a different way of doing that. But in other parts of the world, they do use it. In X-Plane, it's actually simulated to identify the station using the BFO mode. So if we turn the BFO mode on, and you'll see that indicated here, and then we also monitor the ADF radio, we should be able to hear Morse code. And there it is. And then if we look at the chart here real quick, we should see here FIQ. So dit dit da dit dit dit. da dit da, or da da dit da. So let's listen to it again. Okay, so that would be a positive identification for fiddlers. And you're going to need, I'm going to go ahead and turn this back off. You're going to need all of that for this flight. And so just be aware of that. This is the stock, the default Cessna 172 will do it. This is the Bush mod for that same plane. Other planes will do it. You just have to be aware that you need that BFO mode. Now, one other thing that's kind of weird, and if you're not a programmer, you don't even have to. You can just skip this and move on. But I just sort of wanted to fill you in on how this sort of works. So if we look at the data refs and things like that, let's see, did it show up? Let's see, data ref tool search. Okay, there it is. So if I look at ADF1, and if you see me switching, if I just toggle the BFO mode on and off, you'll see right here, actuators ADF power. So it's actually a power mode that when the ADF is actually in antenna mode, the power mode is actually the value of 2. And if we switch it to BFO, it's the value of 3. The radio's still on, but the power mode goes to a different one. So depending on how the plane is programmed, it may or may not be labeled the same way. I know Melvin Leroy checked this the other day in the PC6, and the buttons on the radio were labeled differently. So you might be able to get to that mode in a plane like the PC6, or even different airplanes by Caronato, or different ones that are available as an aftermarket. But that's what, if you put the radio in BFO mode, that variable switches to 3, and then of course you want to be able to listen to that radio, and that's another data ref thing that changes. Again, data refs are just internal variables that the simulator uses to keep track of, like what frequency your radio's on, or what the airspeed is, or it's almost anything. But I just wanted to let you know that that's how that works. So the radio in the particular plane that you might be using may or may not be labeled like this. One other thing that I wanted to point out is that the ADF frequencies go from 200 kilohertz all the way up to 1799 kilohertz. And even some planes, as Melvin Leroy again found out in the PC6, that the display for the radio doesn't necessarily show the 1000th digits. So you may be able to just sit here and tune, and it may go up to, for instance, like 9 and then 0, and then it might not show the 1. But if this number keeps, if that hundreds digit keeps incrementing, you'll know that it's actually tuning up above there. So just understand maybe what you might be looking at in the airplane of your choice. They're all created a little bit different. Some ADF radios only have 3 digits, and therefore you might just need to be aware of that. If you want to do a little research, again, you can use this data ref tool. I'm going to pull that back up, and I'm going to look at ADF 1. And as you can see, as I change the frequency, you can see these values changing in here. And if for some reason your radio doesn't show that, you can see what frequency that thing's kind of going towards. So this was something that I learned not too long ago as I was working on the Skymaster, in fact, and digging a little bit on how, where did it go, on how these radios actually work, and what the tuning range is. And anyway, so you're going to need to know all about that, what I've just shared with you. If you have any questions, you're going to need to know all about that for this month's flight. And if you have any questions or concerns or worries about a particular aircraft, or whether or not it has that capability, if I have that aircraft, I'm happy to check it out and kind of make sure that it it has that functionality, hit me up in the Discord, and we'll go from there. So, all right, I think that's it. As always, if you have any other questions or whatever, you're always welcome to shoot me a message in the Discord, and I'm happy to help. Again, thanks for 2 years of the Bush League Backcountry Flying Series. It's been a great time, and I've enjoyed it. Hope you have too. I've really appreciated the friendships that we've made, and had a lot of fun getting lost and trying not to crash simulated airplanes. All right, that's it. See ya. Thanks.